Most people think canned soup is enough. You grab a few cans, put them in the cupboard, and assume you're covered. But if the power went out tonight, most of what you have wouldn't actually keep you going, because a lot of canned soups look filling, but they're mostly liquid, low calories, not enough substance, which means you eat one, and you're still hungry, and when food matters, that becomes a problem fast. So instead of guessing, let's go straight into the soups that actually work. Start with beef stew. This is one of the few canned options that actually feels like a meal. You're getting chunks of meat, potatoes, vegetables, a thicker base. This isn't just something to have, it's something that can carry you through hours, and that's the difference. Now compare that to chicken noodle soup. Most people default to this. It's everywhere, easy to find, but when you actually eat it, you notice something quickly. It doesn't last, because it's mostly broth. You finish it, and you're still looking for something else. So, it's useful, but not something you rely on heavily. Now, something slightly better, chicken and rice soup, same idea, but more substance, more carbs, more weight. It still isn't the strongest option, but it's already more practical than noodle-based soups. Now move into something underrated, lentil soup. This is one people ignore, because it doesn't look exciting, but it works. Lentils are dense, high in fiber, moderate protein, they keep you full, which means you eat less overall, and when supplies matter, that's exactly what you want. Now, something that doesn't always get grouped as soup, chili, but it should, because in situations like this, chili is one of the strongest options you can have. It's thick, high calorie, heavy, you eat one can, and you actually feel it. That's what makes it valuable. Now here's where people start making mistakes. Tomato soup. It feels like a staple, something everyone has, but when you look at it practically, it's one of the weakest options, mostly liquid, very low calories, not filling. You would need multiple servings just to feel satisfied, so it's fine as an extra, but not something you depend on. Now, let's talk about minestrone. This is one of the more balanced soups available, because it combines beans, pasta, vegetables. It gives you a mix of energy and nutrients, not the most filling, but reliable enough to include. Now, here's something people don't really think about until it's, well, too late. Ready-to-eat versus condensed soups. Condensed soups need water, sometimes heat too. Ready-to-eat soups don't. That difference honestly becomes critical, because when the power is out, convenience matters more than anything else. If you need extra steps, you're already at a disadvantage. Now let's talk about cream-based soups. Cream of chicken, cream of mushroom. These are thicker, more calorie-dense, but yeah, they come with trade-offs. They're heavier, and not ideal if you're eating them cold. Still useful, but not something you want to rely on alone. Now, here's something stronger than people expect. Split pea soup. This is honestly one of the most filling options you can find in a can. It's thick, dense, packed with fiber, and because of that, it keeps you full much longer than lighter soups. This is the kind of food that really stretches your supply. Now, something similar, black bean soup. Another dense option, higher in protein than most vegetable soups, more satisfying, and honestly, easier to rely on over time. Now think about chunky vegetable soups, the ones with actual pieces, not just broth. These matter, because texture equals substance, and substance equals staying full longer, so always check what's actually inside. Now here's something people overlook, potato soup, especially thick, creamy versions. These are heavy, high in carbs, and surprisingly effective when you need energy. Again, not perfect cold, but still useful in a mix. Now something more niche. Sausage-based soups. These are rare, but powerful, because they combine fat, protein, density, which means more calories per serving, and in a limited situation, that's valuable. Now here's something important. You don't need variety for the sake of variety. You need repeatable options. Things you know, fill you up, taste acceptable cold actually work, because when you rely on something, you don't want surprises. Now imagine opening your cupboard, and everything inside is thin soup, broth, light options. You technically have food, but nothing that actually sustains you. That's where most people realize they made the wrong choices. Now something simple but important, vegetable soup. This varies a lot. Some are packed with ingredients, others are mostly water, so it depends what you choose, but when done right, it adds variety and helps balance everything else. Now here's something most people ignore completely. Calories. Because when food is limited, calories matter more than flavor. You don't need variety, you need efficiency. And thicker soups always win here. They give you more energy per can, which means your supply lasts longer. Now, let's talk about storage. Canned soups last a long time, but not forever. They need to be stored properly, cool, dry, and undamaged. A dented can can compromise everything, so it's not just about buying. It's about maintaining what you have. Now something small, but important. Salt. Most canned soups are high in sodium. In everyday life, that's something people try to avoid. But when you're eating less overall, it can actually help maintain balance. Still, you don't want everything to be the same. Now step back for a second, because this isn't really about soup, it's about how people think. Most people buy food based on taste, convenience, familiarity. But when things change, none of that matters. What matters is, does it keep you going? Does it last? Does it actually work? And that's the shift most people don't make, until they need to. So next time you're buying canned soups, don't just grab what you recognize. Look at what actually delivers, because when the power goes out, you won't care what tastes best. You'll care what works.